Boys, we are back with another video. And when I say we, I mean me and them. We're back. And you're back. So, this one is gonna be something different than anything we've ever done before. We're gonna do it in one video, complete a brand new project. We're gonna do it fast. We're gonna do it cheap. Not cheap, cheap's not the right word. On a budget. So everyone's like, oh, you spend too much money and you always do this. Well, this time it's gonna be on a budget. And we're doing it on a budget, not because the customer's cheaping out, because we have bigger plans down the road and we need to get it off-roadable in 3 days. So, let's see. It's right behind this door. Let's get this door open, let's see what we got. That's right, guys. You guessed it. It's a JK. Weird. I know. So, Anvil Gray, 4-door Sahara. This right now is on a set of AEV wheels and 35s with no lift. So, speaking of budget, you guys can put 35s on a JK with no lift. Now, the back spacing has to be right, and you're probably going to do some rubbing when you are off-road. But if you want to cruise the mall and look like a hot boy, you can do it. So anyways, what are we going to do this thing? Well, let me show you. Step one, remove tires, remove old suspension. We're not going to need those anymore. Let's get to it. Okay, so stock suspension, it's out, it's gone, out of there. So, how are we doing this on a budget? Well, this is a little parts bin that one of our buddies collected. This has some good stuff in here. Some Fox shocks, a little bit of paint on, no big deal. Ready lift shocks, some springs, some spacers, whole bunch of stuff. So basically, we are going to put together a 3-inch lift using this stuff on the cheap. This will get this up in the air and get us ready for some bigger tires. So, let's get it in there. Okay, so 3-inch suspension lift is in. Now, we got this one from our buddy, but it is used, and you guys can find stuff for JKs on Facebook Marketplace like crazy. Now, being that I'm an off-road shop, I don't recommend that, but I will install it for you if it's in good shape. So, you can get smoking deals and get these things up in the air pretty easily. So this is a 3-inch kit. Has Fox shocks. I think the shocks were off of something else, the 2-inch, so we put extensions on the back. Still very budget friendly, and now this thing will be 3 inches higher. So, being that we're on a budget, but we're not mall crawlers, we're gonna need a skid plate. This is what I like to call a budget skid plate. Now, we usually keep these in stock because for the money, this will get you on the trails and back without having to worry about it or spending thousands of dollars on skid plates. This is from Weston. This is their engine skid plate on a budget. I think we sell these for 215 bucks. You can't beat that, guys. So, there she is. Now, it comes with some brackets. Very easy to mount. Let's throw it in. Okay, so, install this. What you gotta do is take these two bolts out here. 18 mil. 18 mil. Set those aside. Then, you're gonna wanna loosen this one here, which you can't really see, but it's on this skid plate, and this one over here, which you can't really see. So, loosen those suckers up just a hair. Okay. Now, we need to install these stanchions, which go up here on the motor mounts. I'll bring the camera a little bit closer so you guys can check that out. Okay, so up in here, you see the engine mount. Now, there is one of those on either side. You need to take these little nut clip things here, and there is a oval hole and a circular hole. These are gonna go on the circular hole. So you just kind of slide it right in there, like so. They should clip on, maybe a little bit of a pop on the end here. Something heavy. Okay, do that on the other side, and we'll have something to bolt in. Okay, so then you take your brackets. You got one for the driver's side. This is the driver's side. Passenger side looks a little different, but this is the driver's side. And your bolts, and you're just gonna wanna do these loose. So you just snake this up through here, like so. Okay, now that's started, do the other side. And then the kit comes with a longer bolt here. It goes up through the factory transfer case skid and into that hole. Okay. Now, just tighten everything up. Hopefully all that was in focus. There you have it, $215 skid plate, installed, engine, oil pan, safe.
Okay, so let's rewind here a bit. So the lift kit is in. Obviously, we're trying to fit 37s. So one of the cheapest and easiest ways to fit a bigger tire on a JK is to do something with these factory fenders. Now, you can cut them, but you know, the amount of time it would take, it's just not really worth it. I mean, if you're on a serious budget, go ahead, cut them. But if you want to spend a little bit of money, there are a lot of options out there. Now, one of my favorite fenders is the ones we were putting on this Jeep. They are cheap, they are reliable, and they have a lifetime warranty. And they go on super easy. They look similar to the Nemesis, except they are made of plastic and a fraction of the cost. I prefer the Nemesis, of course, but these are a great option.
Okay, so once you have them ripped off, start installing them. You want to take this little rubber puck here. This basically just sits there and acts as a platform for the flare to sit on. So bolt up through, do one of these jobs. Okay, tighten that up, and then you just throw the flare on there. So basically how I do these is you set that there like so. Take a couple of these spring clamps and kind of get the flare close, something like that. Okay, and then there are a couple holes up front where bolts do line up. So you line those up, throw bolts in, go from there. Okay, now for the back portion, basically what I do is use a combination of these two tools, stubby impact with an 8mm or an electric ratchet, and the kit comes with these self-tapping screws. Basically just line up these holes and you just apply pressure, these will grab. So, pretty self-explanatory. The other nice thing about that is if you do go to, you know, an aluminum flare like a Genrite or a Nemesis or something afterwards, a lot of these holes don't correlate with their holes. So you have plenty of mounting options in the future. And just like that, guys, your fender's installed. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other one. No need to film that, it's even easier because it's just straight screws, there's no bolts. So super easy. Now the flare is very solid and it's got a clean look. I'll show you everything when it's all done. Okay, fenders on, check. They have a really nice profile. This part here looks very similar to the Nemesis, but they are plastic. What's cool is you can hit a tree and they'll bounce in and bounce back out. So something to be said about that. And here are the rears. And you can see it's got a nice profile. Now these are the narrows. They do make a OE width one, but these ones cover pretty well. And on the inner fenders, basically you just cut the, let's see if I can even show this. You cut the factory plastics and make them fit in there. So nice OE look there. All right, now let's get on to the next step of this budget build. Okay, so with any off-road vehicle you're actually taking off-road, you need a way to recover yourself, a winch. So if you have a factory bumper, there are some options to mount winches in these, but we're gonna pull this off, put a used bumper on there, which you can pick up cheap all the time. I have customers that take them off. We have some in stock, but there's tons of bumper options for cheap stuff. I like to go with a high quality bumper because it's the first thing you're gonna hit. It also is the first thing people see, and you want it to be sturdy if you're mounting a winch to it. So don't just go grab something off Amazon. If you needed some advice, let me know. Anyways, you see the winch on the ground over there? That is a used Warren VR S10. So that's gonna go in here, and we'll have a winch. Let's get going. Okay, so you saw me putting on the winch plate here. Now what bumpers are we gonna use? As you can tell, this winch plate is all rusty and beat up. Well, let me show you. So, picked up a couple used bumpers. Now, we got these super cheap because they didn't look like this. They weren't in that good a shape. So, one of the things we specialize in here, and when I say we specialize in it, we have a bunch of connections in the powder coat industry. Our friends down at Cobra Powder Coating, we work with them a lot to do color matching. So we've done almost every color Jeep, so we know what code goes with what powder coat. So this one is actually a new one to us, and it's not exactly perfect. It's close, but it's not exactly perfect. I'll show you later on when it's on the vehicle. But the thing is that a lot of stuff that comes powder coated from the manufacturer of the bumper, they do it in-house. They don't use the right primers. They don't round edges, stuff like that. So up here in the Northeast, powder coat goes bad quite quickly. So you're able to score stuff that looks terrible when you get it, but then you can take it to the right people and have it professionally redone and make it look really, really nice. So front, rear, Motobilt bumpers. Now, we're gonna get these on and see how off we are on the color. But like I said, this was a 3-day job, so we were rushing it. This Jeep is coming back for more stuff, like I said, this winter. So our painter can always paint over those and get it exactly perfect. Or we can try to find another powder coat that matches. So anyway, let's get these things on. Okay, so one thing that's not necessarily budget or you need, but it's nice, and we got a deal on these bumpers, is a rear bumper. So let's get this plastic one off, get the new one on. So there's the rear bumper, that's on. Now, one more thing before wheels and tires. Okay, so one of the absolute most important things you can put on your off-road vehicle is a good set of sliders. These plastic steps, they're not gonna do. So, budget tip for you guys. If you have a Sahara, a Sport, anything that's not a Rubicon, check Facebook Marketplace or your local off-road shop. We usually have 2 or 3 sets of them. I have a JL set out back if anyone needs them. The guys that get Rubicons, they come with factory rock sliders, which really aren't that bad for what they are. You can pick these up for like right around $100 is what we sell them for. So easy replacement for these steps because they bolt right in using the same hardware. So that's what we're putting on here. Let's get them on. Okay, boys, lift in, bumpers on, sliders on, fenders on, winch installed. Now, The moment of truth. Can we put 37s on this? I think we can. Let's get them on. You guys want to see what we got? Budget 37s going on right now, 3-inch lift. Not much fun with it. Let's do it. It's done. We've done it. 37s on a budget in 3 days. So we did Motobilt front and rear bumpers that we got used, had repowder coated. We did MCE fender flares, new, used Rubicon rock sliders, a set of used AEV wheels, and a set of used General Grabber AT 37s and a used 3-inch lift kit. All of which we did for around 25, 3,000. I was hoping to be under 2, but we got close. And look at this thing, looks awesome. Now, there's just one last thing to do before this thing goes out the door. The other cool thing about this is that the owner, he knows a little bit of what's going on. You know, he knows that it's getting 37s. He knows what the tires are. He knows what the wheels are. He got those. He doesn't know about the other stuff. He said, here's my budget. I need to have this happen in 3 days. Make it happen. So, tomorrow, this thing is going to him because he is going wheeling with us. And we are going to get his reaction on whether or not he likes it. And we're going to finish this video off with some action shots of this budget build on the trails. So, one more modification, and then tomorrow morning, this thing is out of here. Let's do it.